Okay, welcome back. If you've been watching the other two, then you know that this is the conclusion to Requiem of Rosaria. The first video being put up yesterday, which was the 13th of October, if I remember correctly. And today, whenever this happens to be, will be the second two installments. I'm putting up both at a time because I did promise that the ending half would be up. If it looks like I don't have time after the video because this video already ran up to 9 minutes and I plan on taking no more than a minute and a half on this introduction, but I'm going to be doing a description and analysis of the story in a separate video. If anybody's interested, they can look for that possibly sometime next week. I will be posting up a new short story in paper form sometime soon, possibly today. So if interested, ask about that, or I'll give a description in the link, or I'll give a link in the description, backwards. I'll give a link in the description that sends you to my Writers Cafe site. Now, navigating the site's actually fairly simple. All you have to do is click on my writing. Because my blog is there too, and if you actually wanted to take the time and read anything out of it, you could do that. Well, without further ado, I will end what has been told as my Mona Lisa and described by a few of my reviewers as dark and thrilling and all that other great stuff that made me happy. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you find anything that needs to be changed, let me know, and I will leave you to it. Have a good afternoon. Again, Rosaria stood at the door while her mother was gone. This time she knew she had to make the door unlock. If she stayed, she wouldn't live much longer. Her mother's progression into becoming a monster was almost finished. She never wanted the lights on when she was in the room, and she drank dozens of brown bottles full of the disgusting juice a day. The monster attacks were becoming less frequent, most likely because they no longer needed to attack the house, and the strange dreams wouldn't stop. Dreams of large metal monsters with people inside them. Dreams of pain and fear that wouldn't stop tormenting her even after she woke. In just a few days, her mother told her, it was her birthday again, her 9th. She told her as though it was some great event, but she knew what that really meant. It would be the day the monster that had taken over her mother would kill her, if she was still there anyway. She pulled the chair across the room once again, struggling when it hit the carpet. She pulled, then moved around the other side to push, only to have it tip over with a loud crash. Stomping her feet, she cried and went around it once more to try and push it upright. It was more than she could handle, however, and no matter how far she could lift it, she couldn't set it back on its legs again. She scanned the room, but was interrupted by the jiggling of the doorknob. She looked at the clock, her hopes dashed when she realized she'd been struggling with the chair alone for more than an hour. An hour had flown by all too quickly, all because of a stubborn chair. She rushed into her room and closed it, pressing her back against it and dragging in ragged breaths that refused to slow. Her eyes scanned around quickly, spotting a gold and silver glitter sitting on the table. "Damn thing! Rosaria, did you mess with this stupid chair?" her mother called. "Get out here!" Hurrying to the table, the child grabbed the pen and held it behind her back, trembling as she went back into the living room. The bolt wasn't turned. Her mother had forgotten to lock it. Forgotten, or maybe left it open on purpose. "Did you move this chair?" "Yes, Mama, I wanted to." She backed up as her mother walked closer. "Were you trying to mess with the door? You know what'll happen if you go out there." She stared down at the child, who stared up at her with fear filling her till she felt she'd explode. "Why were you trying to mess with the door?" "I wanted to leave," she cried as she backed up, "'cause you're a monster, and I'm not staying with you anymore." "What are you talking about? I'm not—" she started, reaching out for her. Rosaria shrieked and slammed her hand down, the pen clutched in it tight. It pierced the woman's hand, causing her to jerk back. "Rosaria!" "I'm not going to let you eat me. You aren't my mommy." She rushed under her legs, kicking the brown bottles away as she tried to reach the door. "Stop! You can't go out there!" The woman stumbled after her, clutching the hand that still had the pen buried in it, acting as if she hardly even felt it. "They'll take you away!" Panicked, the child picked up one of the bottles and threw it. Though frail, her aim was fair enough that she hit her mother with the bottle full force. It only hit her arm, but she fell backward a few steps. "Leave me alone! You aren't my mommy anymore! You're a monster!" She sobbed and leaped, trying to grab the knob. It was just out of her reach. Her small fingers slipped off its smooth surface each time. "Stop it!" Her mother got to her feet and rushed over to her, grabbing her by the wrist. "If you don't stop it, I'm going to punish you." If asked what she thought punishment meant, Rosaria would have drawn a blank. She'd never been punished before. But now, hearing the word from the monster grasping her arm firmly, she knew enough about it that she refused to let it happen. She turned her head and bit her wrist, jerking her hand away and running into the kitchen as fast as her thin legs would carry her. Barely able to walk, let alone run, her mother gave chase. She rushed into the kitchen and looked around, unable to spot the small girl in such dim light. "Rosie? Rosie, honey, please stop. Mommy isn't a monster. She just doesn't feel well. Come on now, come." Her sentence ended in a scream as a knife plunged into her leg, up to the handle. Rosaria pulled back and stabbed again, bringing her down to the floor. "Die, monster!" she screamed. "Die! Die! Die!" She began stabbing the woman she had once called mother repeatedly in the chest and stomach, ignoring her screams and pleas for her to stop. She was too frantic, too desperate to escape. And the only way she could do that is if the monster holding her in was gone. When she was sure the creature was dead, she started to sob, staring down at the butchered body of what had once been her mother. If only she hadn't gone out to get that stupid cake. If only she'd never gotten poisoned by the monsters drooling all over her, none of this would have happened. She got up, coughing and walking to the door. Again and again she leaped and grasped for the knob, blood-stained fingers finally wrapping around it and turning it. The door opened and she braced herself for the flood of monsters. She closed her eyes tight, but there was nothing. No pain of attacking monsters, no roaring, just something soft that rushed across her skin and disturbed her hair. Instead of darkness, she could see bright light shining through her closed eyelids. And where she'd expected the sounds of monster growls, she heard something different. Laughter, tiny little giggles from somewhere near her. She opened her eyes, for the first time taking in the sights of the world outside her dark and silent home. The metal monsters from her dreams rushed past, but did not attack her. Instead, they seemed to be controlled by the people inside them. She looked all around, seeing children playing by a sign that read Sunset Boulevard. Slowly, she stepped forward. The moment her foot touched the ground, she grew numb. She felt dizzy, and though she tried to move her arms to stop herself from falling, they hung limp at her sides. When she hit, there was no pain because she was no longer inside her body. She floated above it, watching the body that never quite feel right hit the ground with a muffled thud. Memories she'd lost, memories that had been attempting to break through her dreams, came rushing back. She remembered floating above the scene of a car crash, swaddled in the arms of a woman dressed in purple and blue. Her mother, Rosaria's mother, had a bottle to her lips, driving with Rosaria in the back seat. A truck came through just as the woman ran a red light, slamming into the back passenger side of the van. The van jerked and flipped, rolling over to the side of the road. Only one person was left alive, Rosaria's mother. The woman pulled herself from the wreck and pulled her daughter from the car, sobbing and throwing the beer bottles aside. "Oh, my God! Oh, God, what have I done?" She looked around frantically, trying to wipe blood off the side of the girl's face. "Rosaria? Oh, please don't be dead, please!" Rosaria, or at least the spirit that had left the child's body, gave a soft coo in the arms of the woman rocking her. She looked down to see them descending, stopping in front of the distraught woman. Your foolishness has taken the life of your only child." The mother of the dead child looked up, shaking her head. No, it was a mistake. I didn't think I was so drunk. You, Mariana, carelessly put your daughter in danger, and you have paid the price. But I see how you grieve, and I cannot simply leave you as you are. After all, I have a child with me, whom is in need of a life outside of the spirit realm. Mariana wiped her eyes, smearing blood across her face. "But I don't understand. Who are you?" "I am called Haridi, though I doubt that is of any importance. Know only that I will put the abiku I carry within that child there, and bring her to life. But I ask one thing of you." She knelt, staring at her intently. She must not see the rot of the outside world until her 9th birthday. So impressionable, so frail, she would be crushed by the world. Keep her secret and safe until her 9th birthday has passed, and she will be yours for as long as your lives remain. What happens if she sees the outside world? Should she lay eyes on the world outside before then, the Abiku will wake. If she sets foot within the world, it will flee immediately, and she will be as lifeless as she is now. The little soul, now free of the body that never quite fit right, felt the memory of the incident evaporate from her mind as she turned circles above what was once her cage. She looked down at the lifeless child below her, then backed into the house to see Mariana's blood circling her body like a gruesome moat. She looked at the world that held no interest to her whatsoever. The house was already nothing more than a distant memory, fading like the last notes of a sad song. Okay, so that is it. What did you think? Let me know in the comments below, like I asked at the beginning of the videos. I would love to know what you all think, and I would love to hear what you think might make the story better, what you think might need to be changed. Also be aware that my reading is not that great. I mean, I can read, and it's not that I can't, it's just that I can't very well when I read out loud. So sometimes I skip words or I mince up words. It would be different from the paper copy because sometimes my brain kind of takes over and fills in spots that I might be looking at, yet I put different words in there. So if you're looking between this copy and the paper copy and you see some weird discrepancies, that's the reason. It's because I try to fill in holes with my mind instead of actually reading what's off of the paper. It's kind of a habit that I do, and I would like to get out of it, but it's very difficult. I have trouble reading in front of audiences, but I have to keep reminding myself nobody's going to see this anyways. I hope people see it, but considering the hits on my past videos that I've put up recently, it's sort of doubtful. But I am going to keep trying, and I hope that whoever does see this enjoys it. Next up is probably going to be the discussion, and you can watch it if you want. You don't have to. It's kind of a spin-off of a blog post that I put up, but it's going to be in audio format, and I'm probably going to elaborate on it a little bit. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and just a few legal things. This is copyright by me, April Parr, 2011. No part of it may be reproduced without my written permission, and if I give you permission, it's not to be changed ever at all in any way. If you want to post the paper story up on your site, or if you want to post the video up on your site, let me know. As long as you give credit to me, I probably won't mind, but I do insist that you ask me first, and I insist on seeing what the site actually is. Also, I do reserve the right to decline for any particular reason. If I see the story posted up anyplace else without my permission, I will ask that it be taken down, especially if it doesn't have any credit going to me, because I did work very hard on putting the story together. But I'm trying to have a lot of faith in people, and especially because I own the original copies, nobody's really going to steal it from me. My editor has the original copies. So, there's that. Anyway, if you're actually interested and think that I'm a decent writer, click the like button. Go visit my other videos, the prologue and chapter 1 of my first novel, tentatively titled Divinity. It will probably change, I'm not sure. If you have any suggestions for a title on that book after you read some of it, I will be happy to, listen to that. Also, please be aware that I am not going to take suggestions if you just read the description. I would rather that you actually read, I would actually that you just read the writing and let me know, based on that. That's about it for me. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope this has kind of brought a little bit of literacy in your life. And, like I said, if you liked it, click the like button and share it with your friends. Thank you.